Whoa, welcome all you Mr. Yarber World History buffs out there. It's me, Leonardo Da Vinci, with my pals. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo, named after myself and my beautiful beard. Here to talk to you today, give you a quick rundown on this time period called the Renaissance. Now let's talk about this. First off, you got the city of Florence. Florence is located on the major Italian peninsula. Florence is a city-state. Now things like the Crusades, the Mongol Empire, they allowed this vast territory, this big territory over there to trade all across this region. But you also have this thing going on known as the bubonic plague or the Black Death. Because of this, wages increase. One reason, employment's down. They need employees. Now, it just so happens in Florence, Italy, they manufacture wool and cloth. Wool and cloth is a major asset here because what do you get out of those two products? You get clothing. People need clothing in this time period. So these two products start to bring in money to Florence, Italy. Next thing you know, Florence is governed by a Republican government. Okay, Republican government. And you got members that are kind of ruling Florence, but you also get this famous family known as the Medici family. The Medici family were famous bankers. One of the biggest benefits they had in Florence, Italy was the fact that they gave loans to people. That was the way that they made money, especially your artists of the Renaissance. Because at this time, the way people believe has changed. You have these people known as humanists. Humanists changed a lot of thought and belief back in this time period. Remember, whenever you think of the Middle Ages, you think of a lot of death. In artwork, we see bad things happen. You got the bubonic plague, a lot of wars. But now, these humanists believe people can enjoy life without offending God. They focus on history, they focus on literature, they focus on philosophy. All these people, this humanist idea kind of inspire who we are today, here in this time period. Now because of this, and because of those lovely Medicis, and the amount of money that Florence, Italy has, you start to have this beautiful artwork being created. You have Michelangelo painting the Sixtine Chapel, Brunelleschi sculpting the Duomo. You got myself, the poster child of a Renaissance man, Leonardo Da Vinci. What's a Renaissance man, you history buffs? A Renaissance man, that's right, is knowledgeable and proficient in more than one field. That's me, baby. That's me. Now, I was a sculptor, painter, architect, scientist, engineer. I kind of did it all, okay? One of my most famous works, which you caught me working on whenever you came in, is the Mona Lisa. A lot of mystery to that painting, but it's worth a Google search. Now, things that you start to see changing in artwork. Perspective, realism, things looking real. People wanted to look like they're standing right there in front of this beautiful piece of artwork and it's looking back at it. It doesn't necessarily mean you get rid of God. It doesn't necessarily mean you get rid of the Christian beliefs. You still see that in there, but you also see Greek and Roman stuff. A rebirth of ancient Greece and Rome is taking place. Realism. These figures start to look real. You've got Raphael, the School of Athens. You see a lot of different ancient Greek stuff that's placed all throughout that piece of artwork. Now, you've also got writing taking place in this time period. One of my favorites, Machiavelli. Is it better to be loved or feared than loved? According to Machiavelli, it's better to be feared than loved. If people fear you, they'll respect you. Now, people use some of these texts, like Machiavelli's texts, they use these texts in order to form governments. That's what I say. If there's one time period that truly inspires the world, it's called the Renaissance. The Renaissance inspires the world. It changes it, man. It changes it from the way that it used to be. You've also got Dante Alighieri, who wrote the Divine Comedy. Now through this, Dante, he's going through these different layers, all trying to get to the Inferno, which is what the Italians call Hades. Hades is the Inferno. Now, all these different people, all these different things have inspired who we are. They've inspired the things that we've recently talked about. They've inspired the Renaissance. They inspired a change in the world. Big, massive point in world history here. This is Leonardo Da Vinci. I hope you've enjoyed the rundown of Mr. Yarber's world history. I heard there's a famous group coming tomorrow to put a video on called the famous and infamous Medici Band. Check you later.